Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung, a pro wrestling podcast. I am your host, KG, and we are doing this. I am live at actually Mall of America. But with me is, as always, is the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. Man, what's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot, just enjoying the day.
Yeah, it's a nice day out. Before we get into it, as we know, Worlds Collide, AAA, one of their big pay-per-views, I guess PLEs now, which was live on YouTube for free, happened after SmackDown last night. And man, I got to tell you, I watched this event, and look, there's a lot of people criticizing the event, but at least in my opinion, this PLE was better than PLEs that has at least the last PLE WWE has done. But this event was even better than any of the weekly shows both AEW and WWE has put on. Granted, I understand that, of course, AAA is owned by WWE now, but man, this was one hell of it. It really reminded me of watching AEW when they first started 5-6 years ago, just because, and I think a big part of that is because there are so many wrestlers that you're not as familiar with, and some of the stuff that we're doing was just absolutely fantastic. So I really encourage people to check this out if you haven't. Something else I want to address, as we know, WrestleMania, I think it's 43, is going to be held in Saudi Arabia. And when they made this announcement, the Vegas crowd at this AAA event started booing WWE, started saying, "You sold out." And then of course, there's fans running their mouth. This is one particular person that I kind of got into a little bit of a debate with. Her name is Lisa, and she stated that how can WWE do this whenever we have stood by them for all these years? And my response to her was this: if you think for 1 second that the United States, the fans of the United States, are the only people who had anything to do with the success of WWE, you've lost your mind. I mean, this is a company that has been global for many, many years. Granted, maybe they have not accessed a lot of the countries they do now because of their deal with Netflix, where now every country has access to WWE. Nonetheless, none the damn less, it has been fans from all over the world who is responsible for the success of WWE. So for fans to be upset that WWE is holding WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty narrow-minded. Not to mention, WWE is a business. And you cannot tell me that if you owned a business and someone handed you a damn check for $100 million to hold an event there, you wouldn't do it as a business owner. That's bullshit.
I heard it was 200 million or 250 million, actually.
So the information that I got from a actually, I was going to say a WWE site, but I don't think that's true. I said, in this article, it mentioned 100 million. It may be 200 million, but the point is, it doesn't matter if it's 50, 100, or 200 million. As a business owner, you would be lying if you said that you would not take that check and schedule an event for this place.
And that's the exact same thing I said to somebody on a board. I said, look, bottom line is they're a business. This was a business decision. All right. Now, with 100 million or whatever it was, that being said, all right, that's money in the bank already. That's not including buy rates. That's not including merchandise sold. That's not including anything else. All right. This will probably be one of their most profitable WWE events, WrestleManias. All right.
And go ahead. Yeah. And look, this is the thing, too, though. A lot of people were saying, oh, well, Vince McMahon was in charge. But Vince McMahon was the one that originally made the damn deal with Saudi Arabia to start bringing them to that country.
Right. And Vince is a businessman first and foremost.
Exactly. 100%.
Now, ideally, would Vince want WrestleMania there? No, I don't think so. But money talks.
Yeah, I was exactly what I was going to say.
But I don't think initially Vince would be keen on the idea.
Look, We don't know what Vince would think. The only thing I'm pretty confident in saying we're going with Vince McMahon is the thing that I think that he would be against are the ticket prices to the live events right now. That I'm pretty sure that I don't know if they would cost as much as they do now. Just because Vince was so in tune with the wrestling community and the people who went to these live events. He understands that these people are blue collar workers. But, and here's a but, until we start seeing massive drops in attendance at live events, you can't really say anything because right now, these ticket prices, people are paying them.
Right. And you're paying them because there's less opportunity to go see them too.
Right,
So,
right, absolutely.
you know,
Now, now this is the shitting on WWE. Um, Friday Night SmackDown was brutal for me to watch last night, man. It really was.
it had its high points and low points, but yeah, it was kind of a struggle to get through.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
God it was
Even
only
it,
2 hours, not three.
right. I was going to say, even it being 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it is, it was still hard to watch. It was hard to resist the temptation to fast forward through most of the show.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get in it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we started with a recap of John versus Sammy last week. Brock coming in, uh, and we all know what happened. We got Brock to the ring, and then our truth immediately comes to the ring. And this is probably the highlight of SmackDown, I thought.
You,
Our truth
yes.
nose to nose with Brock and saying, I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to protect my big brother. I didn't know who you are. I'm Ron Cena. Oh my God. You guys got the same mother? No, we got the same father. I was just
Father.
rolling. I was just rolling. And I know it took Brock everything not to break character. I know it did.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. This was the best segment of the night. Um, a lot of fans were complaining that, oh, Brock Lesnar's supposed to be this heel, but yet he was laughing. Look, I love seeing, regardless of if Brock Lesnar is a heel or a face, I love seeing him actually having a good time. I really do. It makes me more invested in this guy. And to me, it makes him even more of this um unpredictable badass because here you are, he's laughing, seemingly having a good time with our truth because of what our truth is saying, and then he just snaps and destroys our truth. Now
Yeah.
I loved how he embraced the fact that his pants ripped in the back when that happened. Look, that was great. That shows how professional he is. That shows that Brock Lesnar has gotten to the stage in his wrestling career that he can even handle unexpected things that may happen in the ring. It really did.
Yeah, I don't know the science behind ripping your pants on an F5, but it was great. He stuck his ass out between the ropes, and then he walked up the ramp saying, I blew my pants out.
Right,
Yeah, it was great. Again, I don't understand the science of how that happened, but nonetheless, it was how he handled it was great.
right. Now, some fans were upset that when he left the ring to go back to backstage, how, oh, well, he's a heel and he kind of high fived a couple of kids. So the fuck what, man? Like, this is not, Brock Lesnar is not a pure heel. A pure heel has so much heat, dude, they don't get cheered, right? Brock Lesnar, he may be somewhat of a heel, but he's not a pure heel because the man still has huge pops and cheers
Yep,
when
yep. He
he's
kind of borders on an
wrestling.
anti-heel or
Right,
anti-hero.
right,
Um, you know, Brock is Brock, and you got to respect the career he had, whether it's MMA or WWE. He's got a stellar career. He's a legitimate badass. He's demonstrated that in MMA. That guy's built like a brick shit house. You know, he hunts, he farms. I mean, he's, for all intents and purposes, an average guy.
right. And you know, the biggest complaint that I have right now with Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and I don't even think it's their fault, is the fact that they didn't build on the storyline sooner. Now, and we'll get to this. They showed the video package um,
Of their
of their
history.
history and their careers, which is fine, right? But this should have been done a month ago instead of a week before WrestlePalooza.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But at least they're trying to make up for it, I guess.
Right,
All
right.
right. So next
And,
we go
and,
to
let me say this last thing about this. To be honest with you, and look, I've been the one to complain about it. I'm not going to, uh, act like I didn't. But at the same time, as much as it would have been great for there to be a build to the storyline, at the same time, it's fucking Brock Lesnar, John Cena. I mean, even if they gave us nothing, just a match between these two would be something that, like it or not, people are going to pay to see.
this is one of the matches that you've seen a dozen times, but you're still invested in it.
What? Absolutely.
Just because of the name factor in it.
Yep.
So speaking of which, are you watching The Peacemaker on HBO Max or no?
Oh, absolutely.
It's hilarious.
It's great.
It's not as funny as last season, I think, but it's
Right.
it's it's good. I think it's more serious this time around.
Yeah, a little bit. But look, the Peacemaker, I never thought John Cena was a great actor in previous things that he's done, right? Um, he is excellent in this role. Absolutely excellent.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So next we go to Sami Zayn talking to somebody, offering him open challenge match. It turns out it's Dragon Lee. Then the match pursues. This is actually a halfway decent match. I'm not going to sit there and say different. Sammy ends up getting the win, and that's really all I can say about it. I mean, nothing spectacular on this match. I like
Right,
Dragon Lee, but I think he's not the next Rey Mysterio. He doesn't have that
right.
same charisma.
No, no. The match is exactly what I expected. I didn't expect Zayn to drop his title by any means, but it is exactly what I expected. It wasn't a great match, but it wasn't a terrible match either. I say it was an above average. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I will too. So next we go to a vignette of Solo saying what he's lost and where he's going to go and where he's going to take his family. I basically could have done without this because I don't really
Really,
care. I
look,
just I absolutely care less about my family tree.
I can beat you there, but I'm going to give Solo credit when credit is deserved. This was the best promo I've seen him in since he's been in WWE. It showed him for being that unhinged person that he kind of was back when he was with the Bloodline, right? And
Yeah.
then when he had, he got out of the Bloodline, he kind of had his own faction. Um, there's just something to be desired. It wasn't all that. Last night, that promo, I really appreciated. I actually liked it. And I think it's because I feel like that was his best promo that he's done since he's been with the company.
See, I don't think he should do promos. I think he should be an enforcer, and that's it.
Oh,
He
I
doesn't.
look,
He doesn't strike me as somebody that's got a personality. And I'm sure
I
he does. I'm sure he's a great guy
right,
outside the ring and family man or whatever. But he just
right.
doesn't strike me as somebody that should have a microphone or whatnot. He should be an enforcer. He should be that quiet, silent, deadly guy that at a moment's notice will drop you and not even blink an eye.
And I agree with you. The biggest reason why I don't think he should be the head of a faction is because normally your leaders of a faction,
Are
um,
charismatic.
well, they're charismatic and they're the ones that kind of represents the brain behind the faction, the thinking man, the man that comes across and plans all of these things to get them ahead. Solo just doesn't have that look of the type of leader that you would normally see in factions.
Nope.
Now, I will say this though: at the time when they made him a leader of a faction, look at the group that was in this faction. None of those guys really were anyone that you would think of leaders of a faction. As much as I love Jacob Fatu, Jacob is definitely not the guy you would see leading a faction because he is more of that unhinged guy. Matter of fact, I did an interview yesterday with I'm gonna butcher his last name again, with Lynn no E, I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, who is the widow of Alpha part of the Wild Samoans. And then I brought this up yesterday during an interview. Jacob Fatu, throughout the recent years, is the guy who most resembles what the Samoans used to be like, as far as being these unhinged, dangerous characters. But they're definitely not leaders of a faction in any way. And real quick, something you may find interesting, and I encourage people to go listen to this interview. What I did not know is back then the Wild Samoans didn't really speak great English, so a lot of that gimmick was actually real because of they grew up on the island. I did not know that, and I found that very interesting. So you guys check out that interview that I had with Lynn.
Fair enough. All right, so next we go to Kiana and Julia, talking about how they took out Minshew. B-Fab comes in, challenges Julia. It is accepted.
Isn't it Minchi?
Could be. Wouldn't be the first time
Um,
we slaughtered somebody's name.
if there was any segment I didn't give a shit about, including the match, it was this one. I'm not taking
Well,
away from the. I'm not taking away from the talent that both of these women have. Not my cup of tea. I am just not invested into anything that these individuals are doing for
well,
whatever
that's the thing.
reason.
There wasn't really a match. B-Fab got a beat down before the match. Minshew came in to say, or Mia Yim came in to save B-Fab.
Right, right. But that's the thing, though. I didn't care.
Right. They're dropping the ball on this Julia. I think she's a
I
hidden
agree.
gem, and they're just dropping the ball on her. She could be end up like Andrade, where she was great on NXT and just a flop in WWE.
Yep, yep.
So, all right. So then they announced WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia next year. We've already covered that. We go to an Aleister Black promo where he offers Priest a chance to join him. So it's either be with me or get crushed.
So I think that initially we're going to have the typical Damian Priest being resistant. They're going to be feuding, and then something's going to happen that's going to bring them together. And I approve of this. I think that Aleister Black and Damian Priest would be great together. I think Damian Priest is I think it'll be better than what he's doing right now. Look, Damian Priest, there's something that was lost when he left the Judgment Day. I think uniting these two together will be more beneficiary to Damian Priest and Aleister Black, but nonetheless, I like this.
I'm mixed on this because I'm kind of mixed on Damien, but Alistair's got the finesse. Damien's got more of the power, I guess. For lack of term, not saying that Alistair's not powerful, but Alistair's far more finesse than
It's
Damien
it,
is. So I think
it's it,
I think that it's a nice mixture.
right. Well, look, I think it actually goes to right back to what I was just saying. Although you need more than two people to be a faction, nonetheless, Aleister Black, as badass as he is the more deviant one. He would be the one with the brains behind this team.
Yep.
Damian Black will be more of that brute strength behind that team. I think
Damien
they'd be
Priest.
perfect. I mean, Damian Priest. I think that they'd be great together. The only thing that I would want to see is more of that darker side of Damian Priest if they put these two together.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now,
Oh, go ahead.
that, I will say this though, as much as I think I would like this, as a fan, I would much prefer to see an Aleister Black with the Wyatt Sick.
I do too. I do too. And I don't want to discredit Bray or not Bray,
Bull.
Bo,
Right,
but he
right,
just isn't Bray. I'm sorry.
right.
He can't replace his brother, you know.
Bo doesn't have that, as you just said, that finesse. Sure, there's some I'm not going to say that he's not charismatic. There's some of that there, But to me, it's just not enough
Is it?
to be the leader of a team like the Wyatt Six. Because look, so they made an appearance at AAA, right? And the fans went nuts. Their entrance right now, in my opinion, is the best entrance in professional wrestling, period. They lose it though when the music and the interest goes away. When Bo starts talking, I have a hard time separating this Bo Dallas from Believe Bo Dallas. Just being honest with you.
Yeah, both of them are charismatic, but in a different way. You
Right.
know, Bray carried
Yep.
that mysterious kind of. You wanted to divulge more into the character. Bo didn't.
And you just hit the nail on the head of why I would prefer Aleister Black than Bo Dallas is because of exactly just that. Bo just no matter what he's doing, there's not this mysterious mystique behind him. Asher Black, though, if you add him to a team like that, absolutely. He'd be more of that representation of what Bray Wyatt was than what
Well,
Bo
they're
is,
similar
in my opinion.
characters,
Right,
in my
exactly.
opinion.
Right.
So
And, and again, I get that characters, they change, they evolve, but there's just sometimes once someone has been a character, you have a hard time getting away from it. And that bold leaf thing that he was doing, it just burnt my brain. And not in a bad way, because look, what Bo Dallas was doing with what was Perfect Son's name again? Axel
Axel,
Rose or
Axel Manning,
yeah,
or
Axel. Yeah,
Axel.
right.
Yeah,
When those two were doing together with King B, I loved it. I thought it
I
was
did too.
great.
I thought it was
I thought
fabulous.
I thought it fit both of them.
Yep,
I
yep.
have a hard time separating Bo Dallas, that part of him, from what we're seeing now. And it
Right.
kind of messes it up for me.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, Bo Dallas always came across more lighthearted than Bray.
Right.
Even when Bray was Husky Harris, he still came across. He still came across as, somebody you want to face in a dark alley.
Right. You know what? Let me say something about Husky Harris. And I'm being totally honest. I wasn't sold on that. I wasn't sold on Bray kind of doing any type of comedy just because I loved what he was doing previous, right? But after saying that, now that we've lost him, I regret not paying more attention to that character because I miss it. I miss him. I really do. Yeah,
Yeah.
the old saying of you don't know what you got to is gone is so fucking true, man. So
Yep.
true.
Yep. All right. So next we go to Tiffany versus Jade Cargill. This match was kind of a little bit of a botch fest. You know, I don't know what Jade is doing, but she's always, well, not always, but a lot of times she's like one step up or where she needs to be. You
So
know,
I want to
she's
say
she's
something.
got she's got everything that needs to be for a star, but she just can't get it right in the ring.
So I want to talk about something you just brought up, the word botch. It's kind of the botch fest, which is fine. You're allowed your own opinion. I watched an interview with Jericho not long ago, and he was talking about one of the things that he hated the fans talked about was botches. And that just that word makes him want to punch people in the mouth. The reason being is this: these people are on live TV. They're human. Shit happens. And it made me start thinking because I've been guilty of it. Oh, there was this botch, that botch. And I started thinking about it. I have a little nothing fucking podcast that is an hour long. And I can't complete this fucking podcast without making a botch myself. So I get it. I understand it. And I'm telling you from this point on, I'm just speaking for myself. That word botch will never come out of my mouth again because I was able to relate to what he was talking about. I really was. So I get what you're saying. I'm not going to control what my people on this podcast say. That's not the podcast this is. But for myself, I'm not going to go there anymore.
Well, I guess it was the only word that came to mind, to be honest. I wasn't trying to disrespect anybody and I saw the same interview with Chris
Right,
Jericho,
right,
you know,
right.
and
Well, it's
absolutely it's a live event.
right. I think it's one of those things for myself that if I wasn't doing this podcast, I'd probably be the asshole saying, "Oh, they buy shit." So I'm being honest with you, but because I thought about what I was doing, and I don't have zero pressure on me versus the pressure that these individuals have on them, and I still mess shit up just about
Yeah.
every single podcast. Yeah, I'm just like, and again, I'm not calling you out. I'm not saying that you were saying that they were a professional. I understand what you're saying. I'm just speaking for myself.
Yep. No, I understand completely, and I'll try to refrain from using that terminology. I'll stress. I'll try to refrain.
Now, I will say this though, because I'm going to be honest. I have to be honest in order to do these reviews. Is it a match that I was anticipating? Was it a match that I was looking forward to throughout the night? Was it a match that I even particularly enjoyed? It just wasn't. And again, it has nothing to do with these two ladies. They are professionals. They're fine, just not my cup of tea.
Right. Right. That's the
But
thing
I'll
about wrestling. You don't have to
right,
like everything. You know,
right.
you watch
But
it
I'll
for
be out
certain things.
right. But I'll be honest with you. Believe it or not, Jade has not been my cup of tea since she left AEW. For some reason, there's just something, in my opinion, missing from Jade in WWE that she had in AEW.
Yeah, more freedom on the mic.
Possibly it.
You know. Um. So next we go to Chelsea confronting Nick about a tag team title match. Nick informs her that Flair's injured, but they are facing somebody in NXT next week. You can face the winner.
Right.
All right. Then we go
Uh,
to Miz and Nick. Um. And I really kind of zoned out on this one, so I couldn't tell you what Miz was trying to accomplish. Probably a tag team title
well,
match.
right. That basically what was happening was Miz was going to Nick Aldis, representing him and his partner, him, or whatever his name is, Mellow Hayes.
Camilla Hayes.
Yeah, Mellow Hayes. And when Nick Aldis tried to start to explain something to him, he stopped himself, leaving Miz to believe that they did have a tag team title opportunity coming up, which leads to later on in the night with the promo, the segment between Sami Zayn and Camille Hayes.
Yep.
But I'm like you too. The moment I seen Chelsea Green, dude, I don't know what it is about her. There's been times that I'm like, okay, I've enjoyed some things, but more times than not, again, she's not my cup of tea.
Oh, I love Chelsea. I love Chelsea. All right, maybe that's a bit
Right,
bit much, but I enjoy Chelsea. I do, just because she's got that level of craziness, and you never know what to expect from her.
right, right.
And to be quite honest, I really enjoyed her saying, "You know what? I don't care if I lose every week. I'm on TV every week." You know,
Well, look,
she knows how to
Chelsea.
play the game.
Look, don't get me wrong. Chelsea Green as a person, right? Her professionalism, the way she approaches her success, I love her. But Chelsea Green as a character is what I'm speaking about. As a character, there's something missing where more times than not, she's just not my cup of tea.
You're just a grumpy old man. Anyways,
Well, maybe.
all right. So next we go to Rey Mysterio talking about Triple A's pay per view or PLE later on in the night. Dom comes in and says, "Yeah, when I win the AAA, you're going to put that strap on me tonight." And
Yep.
Ray agrees.
And well, this segment was also played on the AAA free PLE on YouTube type thing, right? Um,
So
and
hold on.
I'm not going to give away anything. Again, I encourage people to go watch it.
So my question is it on ESPN also, or is it on
No, the YouTube,
Peacock? That's it,
YouTube.
huh? Just YouTube, huh?
Yeah. Now I can tell you that I was getting aggravated as fuck because I timed it. Every 2.5 minutes, there was a commercial. Now I don't know. Now I did not watch this on WWE's YouTube channel, which is free there as well. As soon as I typed in AAA, I just clicked on the first video, which was
Right.
the full episode, right? So maybe it's because of that reason, but it was annoying me. But I will say this: once we get to that point that we are being monetized as well by YouTube, play all the fucking commercials you want. There's more money in the pocket for us.
Right. All right. So then next we got Finn telling Dom he's gonna have to be by himself tonight.
What I loved about that was when Dom called him stepdad. I don't know why that tickled my funny bone so much, but I laughed so hard at that.
All right. Then next we go to Sammy Zayn interview. Camilla Hayes comes out, challenges Sammy. Sammy says, "Okay, but don't miss your shot."
Now I can tell you that I have no doubt in my mind that during this match is where we're going to see a face turn that Camilo Hayes is going to turn face. Miz will, my prediction is Miz will absolutely cost him that title, starting the feud between him and Miz with Carmelo Hayes being the babyface.
Yeah, I think you're right. Of course, lately you've been right more than wrong, so I can't really argue with you. So,
Yeah, repeat that one more
um,
time.
I'm not your wife, man. I'm not going to say it. All right. So then Miz comes in, and it seemed like there was a little friction between them two.
Right,
You know,
right.
Miz has got his goals, and and Hayes has got his
Hayes.
goals.
Yep.
You know, and ultimately Hayes is looking out for himself. You know, I don't blame him. You know,
Right,
you look at Miz's track record; he's turned on everybody he's ever been befriended with.
right, right.
So,
And
with
that's
the
where
exception of
that
Morris.
right. This is where Miz is his best at. Um, is playing this role of just this sleazy scumbag guy who turns on his partners.
And elevating the talent.
Absolutely. And the only thing unfortunate about it is you're pretty much 95% um, uh, accurate if when you see a new person with Miz and assuming that this person 6 months, a year, however long it takes, is on the way to being a baby face. If a heel is placed with Miz, that heel is going to turn babyface because you're almost guaranteed that Miz is going to turn on him.
Not necessarily true. There's one exception.
I said 95% fine.
Yeah, yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, so the next we go to Drew versus Randy, and I thought this was a decent match, but I really thought it should have been a pay per view, to be honest. Drew threw on a figure four. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I think that was meant to be more of of a slap in the face to Cody Rhodes, saying, "Look," because Cody Rhodes doesn't usually the figure four, and that was more of a "Hey Cody, look at me" type of a thing. Which we seen what happened. Cody eventually came out to save Randy.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing that I found just ridiculous though is since we're in professional wrestling, does the referee get in the way to stop a guy from doing a
A move.
move? That uh, that was my one negative thing about this match. Otherwise, I agree. I mean, I'm not a huge Drew um, fan, but he is good in the ring. Uh, Randy Orton is damn good in the ring. I mean, you knew this match was going to be a good match.
You know, I personally don't think there's probably anybody that's probably more well rounded than Randy, to be honest.
Right,
Um,
right.
you know, there's people that can do certain aspects of wrestling better than Randy, but overall, I don't think there's anybody that's more well rounded than Randy,
Right.
even at his
Yep.
age.
Right. I agree.
And maybe it's just because I've seen Randy for years and I respect him. I don't know, but I personally don't feel there's anybody that's more in any company, to be honest.
Right.
You know,
Nope.
that I
All
can
right.
think of.
Yep. 100% agree.
So yeah, Randy loses the match, which I kind of was surprised, but not really. After the match, Drew pursues or presses an attack. Cody comes out, and Cody actually looked pretty damn good. And then,
Yeah.
to my surprise, Cody challenged Drew to a match at the next PLE.
Right. Yep.
I don't recall too
Yep.
many times where a champion challenged somebody.
It's definitely we're in different times in professional wrestling because usually, um, what normally what happens is the babyface will challenge for a match that night, and then a heel is the one that's like, no, 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 I'm not giving this city this opportunity to see this match.
Right.
But there's normally a storyline built beyond that. This is kind of a last minute thing as far as I'm concerned. I know that there's been issues between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, which they can kind of, well, this is the history. But as far as building a current true storyline, it's just not there. It's just kind of, I felt like this match was kind of thrown together at the last moment.
Yeah. Well, there was an incident, 3 weeks ago, where it took Cody out so he could film, a
Right,
movie.
right,
But yeah, I mean, there was nothing after that. Oh, Cody's in the hospital, or Cody's,
right,
not cleared to wrestle, and that was pretty
right.
much it for 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
And in wrestling, 2 weeks is a long time.
It is. It is. And this was the main event, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the main event.
Yep. And that's how it went off air. Overall, I'll get, you know what? Yes, and I'll stand by it. It was difficult for me to watch, but there was some good segments. I'd give it a B minus overall.
I'll go with a C plus.
Yep. Yep. But that pretty much does it for this episode reviewing SmackDown. Again, guys, if you've not watched AAA on YouTube, I truly encourage you guys to check it out. This event, in my opinion, was absolutely great. I loved it from the very first. The very first match was one of my favorite matches, believe it or not. But from the first match to the last match, it was great. Natty was on there. She looked absolutely amazing. Natty, in my opinion, is starting to become one of the best female wrestlers in the industry right now, and I'll tell you why. Um, she has this kind of new character that she's doing every now and then, which is the Natty carrier, or the character, not Natalia, but Natty. But what makes her great is more times than not, when a wrestler changes their character, they pretty much look the same in the ring. The difference usually is they're a baby face versus a heel, or vice versa, right? Natty, she is so aggressive. She looks totally different than what we're used to. Her match was just so damn good, man. I can't say enough great things about AAA, so I really encourage fans to check that out. But yeah, this ends our episode reviewing SmackDown. I'm off to eat with my wife. Mark,
I'm gonna do the same,
anything?
man. I'm gonna go eat.
Absolutely, guys. Until then, guys, we will see you guys on Tuesday. Get your bell rung, Pro Wrestling Podcast. Please subscribe.